Hello to everyone online. This is JinHe, and thanks for joining the class on the Sutra of the Merit and Virtue of the Past Vows of Medicine Master Vaidurya Light Tathagata. Today is the 8th class, and it is, it is the 19th. Today is a Sunday in California at 5 p.m., and it's 8 o'clock if you are in Malaysia, Singapore, Taiwan. So 5 p.m., meaning we are ready to begin. So I'm going to invite everyone in joining me in putting your palms together and reciting the Buddha's name. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one. Namo saranto sucetoya alahati sanmyao sanputocha. And this is the verse in Chinese for opening the sutra. 无上甚深微妙法，百千万劫难遭遇。我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。Supreme and wondrous Dharma, subtle and profound, rarely is encountered, even in a billion eons. But now we see and hear it and accept it reverently. May we truly understand the Buddha's actual meaning. Okay, and now we'll recite Medicine Master's name for 7 times. Namo Quelling Disasters Lengthening Life, Medicine Master Buddha. 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 How is everyone doing? You know, I've asked questions before online, but I've hardly gotten verbal responses. Yeah, maybe you can type in the chat box. How is everyone doing? Is there anything someone would like to bring up, either verbally or in the chat box? If not, I have something to show you. Okay. In September 2019, DRBU had held a recitation for DRBU students of the Medicine Master Buddha's mantra. So this poster was created for them. I'm not sure you can see it. It's a bit small. Let me move to the next picture. There you go. Okay. So you have the mantra over here in Sanskrit. This mantra is the right one. That is the same one as Rebbe Hengsho has. If you look at my earlier videos, I shared, I copied it from, I'm not sure where, but if you look at the last 2 lines, Om Baisa J, Maha Baisa J, the one that I shared, the third Baisa J did not have the word Maha. So this is the right one. Yep. So this was the poster that DRBU had. Medicine. That's medicine. Okay. So for today, let's bring up the notes, on-screen notes. Let me, oops. Oh, I'm trying to drag it over. Okay, got it. And in the last class, I promised that I would open with something called the 4 great references, and I shall do that today. And let me see, text with, let's try page with. Yep, that looks good. Okay, just a question, sound test. How do I sound? Can someone respond?
Well and clear.
Okay, thank you. All right. So, what are the four great references? The four great references, excuse me, come from the Mahaparinibbana Sutta, or also known as the Last Days of the Buddha. It is one of my favorite suttas. Um, it has a lot there, and it's also really poignant because it is in the Theravada canon. It is the last sutra that the Buddha spoke, and yeah, I would urge everyone, if you have not encountered this sutra before, please let me type it on screen where you can find it. Okay, you can find it at www.accesstoinsight.com. Let me see if that's correct. Okay. Yes. Oh, org. Okay. This is what it looks like. Access to Insight. Let me increase the size. Okay. Access to Insight, readings in Theravada Buddhism. Basically, the entire Pali canon is in here, and it's all in English. It's a tremendous resource. You can search according to here. There you go. You can search according by sutta, by subject, by proper name, by simile. You can also search by authors. They have study guides. Yeah, they have FAQs. And if you're a beginner to Buddhism, it has questions, answers like what is Theravada Buddhism, befriending the sutras. It's really, really friendly, and I would urge everyone to have this bookmark on your browser. As you can see in my browser, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 tabs open right now on Chrome on Access to Insight. Yes. Yeah. They also have an app on the Play Store if you're on Android. Same, exactly the same. What you can do on the website, you can do on the app as well. So if you're on iOS, you look up ATI, short for Access to Insight, for iPads and iPhones, and same for Android as well, but on the Play Store. So Mahaparinibbana Sutta, you can find it here, accesstoinsight.org. Highly recommended. Okay. Underline that. All right. So in this sutta, among many other teachings given by the Buddha, one of the things that he gave is called the four great references, and it is the Buddha explaining to us right now. He was talking to the monks at that time about how we should listen to the teachings from monks. Okay, so I'm going to read it. I'm going to highlight and prepare the document for reading, and I'm going to put my palms together. It says, "And there the Blessed One addressed the bhikkhus, saying, 'Now, bhikkhus, I shall make known to you the four great references. Listen and pay heed to my words.' And those bhikkhus answered, saying, 'So be it, Lord.' Then the Blessed One said, 'In this fashion, bhikkhus, a bhikkhu might speak.'" Okay, I'm going to scroll again. Okay. "Face to face with the Blessed One, brethren, I have heard and learned thus. This is the Dharma and the discipline, the Master's dispensation." So let me give a quick, introduction to what these four great references are. The four great references are 4 instances when you hear the Dharma. Okay, so the Buddha outlining 4 different instances when you hear the Dharma. So verse number 1 says, someone saying, okay, probably a monk saying that they have face-to-face with the Buddha. They have heard and learned thus, and then they share what they heard directly from the Buddha with you. Okay, that's the first one. What's the second one? Okay, highlight. It says, in an abode of such and such a name lives a community with elders and a chief. Face to face with that community, I have heard and learned thus, that this is the Dharma and the discipline, the master's dispensation. So this is the second scenario. Like say someone goes to CDTB. Okay, CDTB, they have elders, and we have elder monks and nuns who have left home for many years, and then the chief, like the abbot. Okay, so that person says, face to face with that community, this is what I have heard, and this is what I've learned, and this is the Dharma that I'm sharing with you. Okay. The third scenario, okay, in an abode of such and such a name live several bhikkhus who are elders, who are learned, who have accomplished their course, who are preservers of the Dhamma, the discipline, and the summaries. Face to face with those elders, I have heard and learned thus. This is the Dhamma and the discipline, the master's dispensation. So the third scenario is to go to a place and there's a few monks who are elders, who are learned, who have accomplished their course, meaning they are, really accomplished monks, who are preservers of the Dhamma. Through them, the Dhamma is still alive. So they embody the teachings, the precepts, the discipline, and the summaries. I guess here summaries might refer to the Shastras or the commentaries. And then someone says, oh, I have seen these monks. I have heard them, and now I'm telling you what I've heard. Okay, that's the third scenario. And then the fourth one, oh, no, what did I do? Control Z. In an abode of such and such a name lives a single bhikkhu who is an elder, who is learned, who has accomplished his course, who is a preserver of the Dhamma, the discipline, and summaries. Face to face with that elder, I have heard and learned thus. This is the Dhamma, etc., etc. Okay, so the fourth scenario is slightly different. It is one single monk. Okay. So again, I'll go through the four scenarios. First one. Oh, again, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, from the back. Okay, the first scenario. What is it again? Face to face with the Buddha. For now, I guess it might mean, say, if someone comes to me and says face to face with the Buddha, maybe in the meditative state, or they get samadhi, or perhaps they read the sutras. They are reading the sutras, and metaphorically they say face to face with the Blessed One, with the Buddha's words. This is what I've heard, and this is what I know. This is my interpretation. Okay, like right now, what I'm doing, having the sutra in front of us, and I'm sharing with you my thoughts. Okay, and then number two is a community with elders and the chief. All right, and number three, somewhat similar, but it's up a notch. Okay, really accomplished monks and nuns. All right, and then number four, a single bhikkhu, someone who has learned the Dharma from a single bhikkhu who is also really accomplished. Okay, so what the Buddha has to say about learning about hearing the Dharma in this way. Okay, scroll time. Okay, one more line up. Okay. In such a case, bhikkhus, the declaration of such a bhikkhu is neither to be received with approval nor with scorn. Without approval and without scorn, but carefully studying the sentences word by word, one should trace them in the discourses and verify them by the discipline. Okay? If they are neither traceable in the discourses nor verified by the discipline, what are the discourses? The discourses are like the sutras, and discipline meaning the precepts, the Vinaya. One must conclude thus: certainly this is not the Blessed One's utterance. This has been understood by that bhikkhu, or by that community, or by those elders, or by that elder. In that way, bhikkhus, you should reject it. Okay, I'm going to scroll again. But if the sentences concerned are traceable in the discourses and verifiable by the discipline, then one must conclude thus. Certainly this is the Blessed One's utterance. This has been well understood by that bhikkhu or by that community or by those elders or by the elder. And in that way, bhikkhus, you may accept it on the first, second, third, or fourth reference. These bhikkhus are the 4 great references for you to preserve. And they have, which is why we have them now. All right? So what the Buddha is saying in essence is, when we encounter the teachings, like right now, all of you are listening to the teachings. Don't blindly accept what you hear. All right? You have to go back. Let me look at that part. Okay. Here. Without approval and without scorn. Okay, that means you don't judge. You carefully study the sentences word by word, and then you go back to your understanding of the sutras and you verify them by the sutras and by what you understand to be the precepts, like no killing, no stealing, no lying, and then Shifu has the 6 guidelines, which is no fighting, no seeking, not being selfish. So anything that you hear that runs out of that, then you have to be, aware. Okay, so this is one of the instructions the Buddha left us. But in order to do this, you have to study yourself. You can't just, so the Buddha said, don't accept blindly, but don't reject either. But you have to go back to the teachings. So for example, like right now, we are learning the Medicine Master Sutra. So you need to go to the sutras itself. Don't just rely on whoever it is that's speaking, like myself, or if you're on the WhatsApp group and people are having discussions and ideas and they have their own views. You have to be, the Buddha says, only by going back to the actual teachings would you know, would you have confidence, I guess? Yeah, I think that's a good word for it. Confidence in knowing how to proceed with your practice. Yeah. And that I actually have an anecdote. Why we've been going through the Pure Land practice and having so many classes on Pure Land practice, or invoking the Buddha's name, or being mindful of the Buddha, is because I'm not sure about everyone online, but as a monk, I spend a lot of time. My practice is geared on the Pure Land. So my intention in understanding and in sharing is so that we can train ourselves skillfully and have the right intention, because then it's easier to trust what you're doing. You are reducing doubt in your daily practice. Okay. Anyone has any thoughts? Okay, from Ruchang says, could you talk about Liu Nian or 6 thoughts? 6 thoughts. What are? I'm not quite sure. 6 thoughts don't. I think I might have an idea, but if you could elaborate on 6 thoughts, Rujang, that would be very, very helpful. Thank you. Okay. Okay, I'm going to do some scrolling. Close your eyes if you get dizzy. So I'm going to continue with where we left off last week. Okay, why don't I do this? Because I can't find it myself too. I have to reduce the page. Okay. Discussion regarding. Okay, so in the WhatsApp group, we had questions regarding discussion, questions regarding blessings and heavenly rebirth, and then also wrong views. Let me highlight and go back to big words, page width. We had a question, about what are the wrong views associated with Buddhist rite ceremonies, things you do when you come to a Chinese Mahayana temple, bowing, reciting mantras, so that we can do it right. So that was the question. And that's related to the question asked before, which is rebirth and the heavens, because it all has to do with cause and effect. So this question has to do with wrong view number 5. What's wrong view in Sanskrit is called drishti. Drishti, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Wrong view number 5, which is, I'm not going to try to, maybe I can try. Silavra Tapara Masa. Okay, I'm going to do that once. Yes? Okay, he's muted. All right. So what is wrong view number 5? Wrong view number 5 is the rigid attachment to the soteriological efficacy of rites and rituals, or clinging to faulty disciplinary codes and modes of conduct. Okay, let's unpack that. Okay, this is very scholarly, interesting, but for today, I'm going to jump to here. Okay. This specific type of attachment constitutes the wrong view that certain purificatory rites, such as bathing in the Ganges River or performing ritual sacrifices, can free a person from the consequences of unmeritorious action. Where is this definition from? Okay, I shall show you right now. Where is it? It's here. Let me go to the cover page. This is what it looks like. Oh, this is what it looks like. This is the Princeton Dictionary of Buddhism. The physical book is maybe 4 inches thick, 4 or 5 inches thick. It's and it has a lot of information that's really, really useful if you want to study more about Buddhism. Okay, so this comes from there. Okay, this description. It goes on to say that attachment to rites and rituals is also one of the 4 kinds of clinging or attachment. Other forms, the other 4. What are the other 4? The other 3: sensuality, false views, and speculative theories, and clinging to mistaken beliefs in that there's a soul, there's a self that carries on from body to body. There's a how you say, every rebirth you are always you. You're always the same person. That's a wrong view too. Okay, so what does this mean? From my understanding, it means that okay, I'll share it a different way. I used to attend the ceremonies in the Buddha Hall and just do the ceremony, like say the Great Compassion Repentance that CDTB, the City of 10,000 Buddhas, puts on every day at 12:30. I would go into the Buddha Hall and I would do the whole ceremony that lasts for about 1 hour 45 minutes. And or is it 1 hour 15 minutes, 12:30 to 1:45, 1 hour 15 minutes, and come out thinking that I've done something really, really great and that I have kind of purified my karma. It wasn't based on any understanding or logic. It was totally based on a feeling. I knew it was good. I mean, the Great Compassion Repentance is supposed to be a really good ceremony. And it made me feel good because going in, I read about Guanyin and all the things Guanyin does that makes me feel comfortable relying on Guanyin Bodhisattva in my practice. And so I would just go in, do the ceremony, come out thinking that, yes, I've done my share of good things for that day. Okay. Without going further into this, let me bring you to what the Buddha has to say about karma. Okay. So again, I'm scrolling. Okay. And now I'll come back to my story, I promise. Okay. Okay, 4 types of karma. This is from the Ariyamagga Sutta, called the Noble Path. You can find this in Access to Insight. Okay. So this is what the Buddha says. Monks, these 4 types of karma have been directly realized, verified, and made known by me. Which 4? Okay, this is really interesting, I promise you. Number 1, there is karma that is dark with dark result. Okay, so dark karma. And then number 2, there's karma that is bright with bright result. Number 3, there's karma that is dark and bright with dark and bright result. And 4, there is karma that is neither dark nor bright, with neither dark nor bright result, leading to the ending of karma. So before I encountered this sutra or sutta, I just thought it was good karma, okay, which is this, like bright karma with bright result. What does that mean? It means that based on cause and effect, you do something, and then when the effect comes to you, you like the effect. You know, you say being rich, for example, being good looking, or having the ability to speak well, you know, getting praise, things like that, things that make you happy, that you can say is bright karma. And then dark karma are things that when you reap the results, you wish that you did not, like illness, you know, you get sued, or, you know, bad things, yeah, horrible things, or just unpleasant things. Okay, you don't want those things to happen to you. That would be karma that is dark with dark result. And then what is karma that is bright and dark? Mixed karma, mixed results. What kind of mixed results? Well, we hear stories about people winning the lottery and then it ruins their lives. You know, they lose all their money, or you know, horrible things happen to them because they won the lottery, something like that. You know, there's happiness as well as suffering mixed in. I thought there was only these 3 kinds of karma, but there is this, neither dark nor bright karma. And what is that? Okay, I'm not going to go through the definition that the Buddha gives us, because you can find it out for yourself. I'm going to go through what is karma that is neither dark nor bright. Yes. Okay. And what is karma that is neither dark nor bright, with neither dark nor bright result, leading to the ending of karma? Right view, right resolve, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. Okay, 5 points to whoever tells me what that is. Okay, this is karma that is neither dark nor bright, with neither dark nor bright result, leading to the ending of karma. Okay, in other words, the Noble Eightfold Path, which is connected to the 4 Noble Truths, there is a way to end suffering or dukkha or non-satisfaction, and the path that you take is called the Noble Eightfold Path. So anything that you do within the Noble Eightfold Path can be classified as dharma, which is neither dark nor bright. Okay, so someone can do like bright karma, like you can be like really generous, you can help a lot of people, but at the same time, you're not doing it because you want to get liberated. That's not your intention. Your intention is just purely to help people, or to be generous, or for recognition, or whatever it is. You know, to look good, feel good. That would be classified as bright karma. So that brings you. That's why you can do those kind of things without a pure heart, for example, and that explains the existence of like asuras, beings who like to fight, that are in the heavenly realms, for example. Yeah. Okay, so I believe Miss Wong Sui Wong had that question about heavenly rebirth and blessings. So the Buddha has divided it into 4 kinds of karma. Okay, and before I continue with the story, I promise I will get back to, let me look at the chat box. Okay, Ru Chang. Okay, so can you talk about the Liu Nian or six thoughts? And then he says, I know 5 of them are thinking Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, Master, Precept. That's all I know. I don't know where it came from or its purpose, etc. Amitabha. And then there's a question, are you referring to the 6 proper mindfulness? Okay, well, maybe if you know exactly what you're asking about, it would help me understand what it is that you're asking. I'm sorry, Rui Chang. I can look it up. Okay, let me show you how fantastic this Princeton, where's my mouse? Okay, dictionary is. Okay, what I do when I get difficult questions is on my the bookmarks on my left of the screen, I just click something called list of lists. All right, I click that and it has ones and twos. Then I'll scroll down to 6. Okay, where's 6? Okay, 6. And if I increase, you see it has like 6 intermediate states. And then 6 limb yoga, 6 non-Buddhist teachers. Maybe I can find your answer there, but that would be for next class, or maybe in the WhatsApp group I can reply you. Okay, so now that we know about the 4 kinds of karma, and we know that if we want to go towards liberation, it's called neither bright nor dark karma. Okay, we come back to the question about what are the wrong views associated with Buddhist rites, ceremonies, repentance, bowing, because karma has to do with intention. So if I just go into a ceremony thinking that I've done something really good, yes, because there's everything that we do, there's an effect. There will be something that there is still cause and effect that's being created. But if my heart is not using the ceremony as a container to how would I put it, to bring my attention inwards towards my mind and look up for my bad habits and identifying them and transforming myself into a better version of who I am, then I'm not creating neither bright nor dark karma. I'm just creating possibly just bright karma because it is still something really wholesome. So that kind of karma, what would it do? Well, it reinforces your connection with the teachings. It makes you more, it brings you closer to the Dharma. It makes you want to do the ceremonies more. But Bodhidharma says that unless you see your mind, you will not get liberated. So that kind of karma brings you closer to the Dharma, but it doesn't help you directly in ending suffering or getting liberated. I hope people can get that. So it's not to say that it's wrong. It's just that I guess if you are going to spend, like myself, that much time in the Buddha hall and doing the ceremonies and doing the studying, you want to get it right. So that's why in the Noble Eightfold Path, you start with right view, but that right view is they call it mundane right view. It's right view that you get from like what you're doing now, listening to the sutras, from doing your own studies, from your own reflection and contemplation, and then you put that right view into practice, and then you go through the whole Noble Eightfold Path, and then you end up with transcendental right view. And what's transcendental right view? That's wisdom from your very own nature, from your Buddha nature. Okay, so you start with wrong view. You start with mundane right view. Okay, and then you end up with transcendental right view. Okay, and let me go small so I can see what I'm looking for. Okay, which is here. Okay, now let me go big again. Okay, so this is what Bodhidharma has to say. Okay, he says to find a Buddha, you have to see your nature. Okay, what is see your nature? It means being able to go focus inside your mind instead of looking outside and uncovering your wisdom. Okay, whoever sees, highlight, whoever sees his nature as a Buddha. If you don't see your nature, invoking Buddhas, reciting sutras, making offerings, and keeping precepts are all useless. Okay, Bodhidharma uses really, really strong language here. Okay, we'll read it and then we'll come back and revisit this. It says, invoking Buddhas results in good karma, reciting sutras result in a good memory, keeping precepts results in a good rebirth, and making offerings results in future blessings, but no Buddha. Okay, all right. How you say? Unpacking. Useless. I don't think, and you can judge this for yourself, I don't think Bodhidharma says useless as in it doesn't help. What Bodhidharma is comparing practices to is this. Okay, let me underline it and let me make it red. You have to see your nature. That's the whole point of all the Buddha's teachings. Okay, in the Lotus Sutra, the Buddha says, everything I've taught everyone, it's to point to one thing. It's for everyone to become a Buddha. It's for you to see your nature. All the practices, everything is for that reason. So Bodhidharma is, as a chant master, he's bringing it back to the ultimate understanding. Okay, so don't freak out when you see him say, like keeping precepts are all useless, reciting sutras, invoking the Buddha's name. No, that's not what he means. Okay, what he's trying to say is you have to learn how to do it right. Okay, not do it right here doesn't mean like learn how to bow properly. What he's talking about is your mind, your intention. Okay, so he gets this question from his audience, a question that I'll probably ask because I would be so confused. He says, the question is, but suppose I don't see my nature, can I still attain enlightenment by invoking Buddhas, reciting sutras, making offerings, observing precepts, practicing devotions, or doing good works? Okay, what is practicing devotions? In Buddhism, because the nature of people is so wide, there are so many different practices in Buddhism, and devotional practice such as Pure Land is one of them. Okay, so you have like chant meditation, you have mantras, and then at the same time you have devotional practice where you're born with your relationship with the Buddha or a teacher or with the Bodhisattvas are really strong, and through that bond it helps you. In my case, it would be breaking down the ego, for example, and being able to admit faults and being really honest with yourself and then improving yourself from there. So this question, and then Bodhidharma says, no, you can't. It's like, why not? Isn't this what we do in the temples every day? Okay, Bodhidharma's answer is, if you attain anything at all, it's conditional, it's karmic. Okay, remember bright karma, dark karma, and bright and dark karma? Okay. It results in retribution. It turns the wheel, meaning you keep on coming back to birth. You keep on getting reborn. And so Bodhidharma says, and as long as you're subject to birth and death, you never attain enlightenment. To attain enlightenment, you have to see your nature. Unless you see your nature, all this talk about cause and effect is nonsense. Buddhas don't practice nonsense. Okay, let me highlight so we don't get lost in the page. A Buddha is free of karma, free of cause and effect. To say he attains anything at all is to slander a Buddha. What could he possibly attain? Even focusing on a mind, a power, an understanding, or a view is impossible for a Buddha. A Buddha isn't one-sided. The nature of his mind is basically empty, neither pure nor impure. It means free of duality. There's even the concepts of pure and impure doesn't apply anymore. He is free of practice and realization. He's free of cause and effect. A Buddha doesn't observe precepts. A Buddha doesn't do good or evil. A Buddha isn't energetic or lazy. A Buddha is someone who does nothing. Someone who can't even focus his mind on a Buddha. A Buddha isn't a Buddha isn't a Buddha. Don't think about Buddhas. If you don't see what I'm talking about, you'll never know your own mind. Okay, let's continue again. We are running out of time. Perhaps I'll share the rest of this in the WhatsApp group. Okay, I will just highlight this part so I can remember. Basically, this part I'll summarize quickly. He says, what happened when you do the 10 good deeds, as in Pure Land practice, how the sixth patriarch talked about. He says, are born as gods in the realm of desire. Okay, but there's a caveat: blindly perform. Okay, those who blindly perform the 10 good deeds and foolishly seek happiness are born as gods in the realm of desire. So Bodhidharma isn't saying that if you do the 10 good deeds, it's useless. He's talking about the intention behind doing the 10 good deeds. People who don't really understand the practice, like we talked about the 8 precepts. The 8 precepts are about creating the conditions for you to go practice. But I never knew that. I just thought holding the 8 precepts as a form, follow it just, strictly was holding the 8 precepts, right? Bodhidharma is talking about the same thing. So when we do like great compassion, repentance, what are we doing? Where's our mind? Are we using the ceremony as a way to expose our bad habits and improve on them and transform ourselves? Or are we just thinking that the ceremony itself has an efficacious nature? So we just walk into the Buddha hall, we bow, we spend 1 hour, 50 minutes bowing, standing, and kneeling and circumambulating the Buddha hall, and that's it. So Bodhidharma is saying, don't get stuck with the form. Okay? Bodhidharma is really good because since we're going to spend all of our time or some of our time doing those practices, he says, do it right. So I'm going to highlight this. Bring it in the middle of the page. It says, Bodhidharma is cautioning against an attachment to the form of practice, thinking that following the form alone is the practice. All right, I hope everyone got that. If not, ask questions and we will revisit it in the next class because this is really important. If you're going to do a practice, Bodhidharma says, do it right. Understand how the practice is supposed to help you. Don't blindly just follow along. Okay? All right, chat box. Being born in a human realm, would you say our karma would have been 50% dark, 50% bright? Okay, that's from S. Paul. That's slightly different. In the Shurangama Sutra, it says that if you have 50%, it explains it slightly differently. It says that if you have 50% logic and 50% emotions, you are kind of born back into the human realm. And then the less emotions you have, the higher you go, meaning the more calm and composed you are in your mind. And conversely, if you're 100% emotion, that means no logic, you fall. Some people, when they get angry or upset, they don't respond to logic at all. That kind of mindset, especially upon the time of death, brings you into the lower realms. Okay, Fasha, seeing your nature, is it the same Dharma spoken by the sixth patriarch? I can't say for everything, but yes, that's what the sixth Petrarch is also pointing to. Sixth Petrarch is also a chant master. So profound to see. So to see our nature is to do meditation. Well, let us qualify what meditation is. Meditation is not just sitting, like in chant, but reciting the Buddha's name, for example, bowing. Actually, for bowing can get you the very strong responses because you are combining repetitive movement of the body with the mind. Personally, I found bowing to be how you say a lot better for me than say sitting, for example. The Dharma doors just help you calm the mind down. Yeah, and then to avoid cyclic rebirth, is that why we transfer merit to rebirth in Pure Land, the body? Yes. What is transfer merit? That will be one of the topics that I have when we come to the relevant section of the sutra. What does it mean to transfer merit? What is transfer merit? Okay, we have run out of time, and it is time to dedicate the merit. So question is, what does it mean to dedicate merit? All right. Just like vows. Vows are one of the things that we're going to talk about. Where's my file? My mouse keeps disappearing. Oh my. Okay, I'll just use this. Okay, a question for everyone to consider until our next class. Transfer of merit. You do something for a reason. What does that really mean? Where does dedication of merit come in if you are sincere? Only at the end, after you do something, do you think about transferring the merit? Or if you're really sincere in doing something for someone, it starts way back in the beginning. Okay, think about it, and we can bring that to the WhatsApp group. Okay, I'm going to put my palms together. May every living being, our minds as one and radiant with light, share the fruits of peace with hearts of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see how hands and hearts can find in giving unity, may their minds awake to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward. May all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light dispel the darkness of their endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise.